Good morning, everybody. Hope you're having an awesome day this morning. Another nice chilly morning. I'm kind of loving this weather. I grew up north, so I really love seeing a little bit of a nip in the air. Definitely don't want to live in it again, so I appreciate that it'll be here and gone soon. So I hope everybody's having a great week so far. It's Wednesday, hump day. Just another day in the middle of the week. We are December 9th. We've got about 21 days left, about 3 weeks left in this year. So we are still working for some closings for this year. I've talked to quite a few people so far this week and at the end of last week that are writing some cash contracts that are going to close before the end of this year. So there is still possibilities, but the bigger picture is, what are you doing to plan for next year? This isn't a time to cut off. This isn't a time to shut down, because there's so many people in this business that are right now, they're turning it off. They're going to sit back and they're going to enjoy some holiday time. They're going to travel. They're going to do this or that. They're going to just sit back and let things happen. Right now is a great time for you guys to pick up some of the pieces and some of the things that are going to be left from these people dropping their business. So a lot of these people are doing that. I'm not saying don't take a vacation. I'm not saying don't have some family time scheduled, but if you're taking the rest of this year off, or at least shutting down for a good portion of this rest of the year and not really engaging with your sphere, or just kind of doing it in a way half-assed, that's not going to benefit you, because you can set up everything you're doing now is going to plan for the first quarter. So everything right now is planning for the first quarter. We're 30, 60, 90 days out from all of the actions you're going to take today. So I went over with my team a few things that you can start doing, because right now this is a great time of year. There's so many opportunities for you all to reach out to your sphere, to your past clients, to your pipeline, to everybody that you have in your database, because you have so many reasons to do it. You had Thanksgiving, you had Black Friday, you could have told them about some home specials that they had at Home Depot, Lowe's, whatever. You've got Hanukkah, you've got Christmas Eve, you've got Christmas Day, you've got New Year's Eve, you've got New Year's Day. You've got so many opportunities. We have Homestead coming up. Right now is the easiest time to pick up the phone, to pick up an email, to pick up your phone and do a video text and reach out to your people, to put some posts on social media, to reach out to them. So use this opportunity, because if you don't, you will regret not taking the opportunity, because come February, March, April, there's not as many reasons going on around us that give us that freedom to just pick up the phone and have a conversation about what's going on. So use it right now. It's absolutely key. So planning for the first of next year, planning for January, February, March, whatever. What we really need to start focusing on is, what are we going to do? What are we working towards? What are some of our goals? What is our primary aim? What are we doing? We don't want to wander aimlessly through this first quarter. We don't want to wander aimlessly through anything, and we don't want to set New Year's resolutions in the typical sense that they are, because the word resolution means it's resolute, it's finished, it's completed, and it's done. I'm going to do it. But most of us don't get that far with our resolutions. We typically just set, I want to do this. I hope to do that. This is what I'm really going to focus on a little bit, but we don't actually get through the steps of setting goals and creating a really solid mindset towards achieving them. So today and next week and the following week, and what we're going to do up until the first of the year, is we're going to walk through some goal setting processes. We're going to walk through the importance of goals, the importance of your mindset. We're going to walk through some processes to get you acclimated to who you are, where is your baseline, and where do you want to go based on everything that you see in your sphere, in your life, in your wheel of life is what we'll call it. And we'll cover that in the next couple weeks. But today's really important, because I want to talk about the foundation of setting these goals, and foundation of having these goals, and then achieving the goals that you're going to get out to go work towards. So I'm going to share my screen, and I want to start off with, this is basically, we're just talking about goal setting and getting started. Right, so this is the beginning. If you don't start now, if you start in January 1st, you're already behind the curve. You're already, and this is a really good analogy that I had heard. You're already given up 2 sets to Roger Federer or Pete Sampras, right? So if you're a professional tennis player and you're going in and you're going to play in some, a Grand Slam match, or you're going in to play in Wimbledon, and you're going to be playing Roger Federer or Pete Sampras or someone like that. Roger Federer is the best tennis player in the world right now. But what you start to do is you start to put yourself behind by 2 sets before you even step on the court, because I'm playing the greatest tennis player in the world. Oh my gosh, I feel like I can do good, but I know I'm here, but I'm playing the greatest tennis player in the world. And you go on with this defeated mindset, and you're already 2 sets behind Roger Federer, and you forget that you're a professional tennis player, and you made it to this Grand Slam match, and you're showing up, yet you're showing up already a little bit defeated and behind, because you've got it in your mind that I'm playing the greatest guy in the world. So by the time you get on the court, you're already defeated by 2 sets. And then you start playing, and about 1 or 2 sets into it, you start to realize that, wow, you get a couple good shots, and you get Roger Federer off balance a little bit, and you got this opportunity to really kind of give it to him, but it's already too late. Because by the time all of the sets come around and all the matches are done, you're already too late. You're already too far behind. You're digging yourself out of a hole. And we don't want to do that in our business. We don't want to come into this first quarter already defeated, already 2 sets behind, trying to dig our way out of it. So it's important that we start working on some things now, working on mindset, working on getting the attitude and the idea of what these goals actually mean, and what are they going to do for me? How are they going to benefit my business? How are they going to put me on track to getting more? Plus, it's even worse in our business, because in our business, everything we do now is working for at least 30 days out. So everything you do this moment right now is minimum not going to come to fruition for the most part until 30 days. So you need to start now if you want to start planning for that first quarter, at least making that first quarter amazing. And this all starts with the mindset, like I just said. It all starts with having the right attitude and the right thought processes when you're coming into this. So you heard us talk a lot about mindset in the Next Level You, and there was somebody mentioning mindset or rapport building in nearly every single session. That's how important it is. And we've all heard the saying too, whether you think you can or you think you can't, you're right. And that's a Henry Ford statement, and that's just a testament to the power of the mind. And I'm just going to read these statements off to you and kind of expound upon them, because as human beings, we're wired to follow in what we think and what we believe. So like we talked to you about, thoughts become things. Whatever you think and whatever thoughts that you have, you start to focus on them. And when you focus on them, it starts to create emotions. And those emotions start to create a belief in who you are, what you can do, what you're going to do, what you can accomplish. And when you have that belief, that directly reflects the actions that you're going to take. So if we believe in and think on positive about ourselves, our actions will surely follow this route in life. Just like you just said, if I believe that I'm good enough, or I believe that I can go in there and I can beat Roger Federer and I can knock him off of his game, I have a better chance of actually showing up and doing that, because I'm not walking in defeated. On the other hand, thinking that we cannot do or achieve something also sets us on a course to fail and fall short. Just like you said, if I go in thinking that I'm playing Roger Federer, my goodness, this is going to be tough. He's the best in the world. And if I go in with that kind of mindset, it's not going to work. And you're already going to be 2 sets behind, and we don't want to do that. Despite what some may say, a person's own mind is one of the strongest influences that will ever be present in your life. Your mindset is the key to everything. Just the way you think, the things you believe about yourself, the way that you process those thoughts with your beliefs and those actions that you take from there. This is the baseline of everything. And that's why I want to start talking about this now and all of these things now, because these are very important. Without this solid foundation, every goal that you set is just going to be a New Year's resolution that's out there that within 2-3 months, you're not revisiting it, you're not focusing on it, you're not setting intentions on it, you're not actually following a GPS towards an end result. It's just something you said you were going to do and it's gone. So we got to really wrap our heads around this mindset and really instill a solid mindset here, because this is where this is going to become powerful. Let's see. One of my favorite sayings when I used to teach in Atlanta was written on the board for students to see every day. Can't is a bad 4-letter word. That's absolutely right. So whether you think you can or you can't, you're right. And if you tell yourself you can't, it's a bad 4-letter word. And those are the things that you have to start kind of wrapping your head around. So, and like we were talking about a New Year's resolution, many of you are going to set goals. You're going to set this resolution, and it's a goal. I'm going to do this year, but you have no plan of attack, no mindset about how you're going to do it, if you can do it, if you can achieve it. It's more like you're wishing that it's going to happen, dreaming that it's going to happen, or like, winning the lottery. You just kind of throw it out there and you're like, ooh, I hope that happens. And the problem with that is, if I asked any of you and I said, show me if you were going to hope that you got something, if let's just say you're sitting there in a classroom hoping that you get a passing grade on your final, what would that look like to you? And it would kind of be like, I'm exaggerating it, but that's the kind of feelings that you have in the body mannerisms that are going to follow that. That's what it's going to look like to hope something's going to happen. But if we get you a really solid mindset and we focus on wrapping our heads around it, getting a really solid foundation to a mind and setting these goals on top of it, we no longer are hoping, we truly believe that it's going to happen. It's no longer a New Year's resolution in the terms that we think. It actually is resolute. It's done. It's over. I'm doing this. We're going to get it. So we just have to start thinking in terms of mind first. Mind over matter. We got to get our mind wrapped around these things first. So mindset is the absolute key. Mindset is the most powerful thing that you're going to have. So we have to think of different ways that we can harness a solid and strong mindset. So I'm going to give you on this slide and the next some different tips and keys and tricks that you can do to help to grow your mindset, to focus your mindset, and to set this solid foundation that we have, okay? So the power of intention. If you set goals, or better yet, set intentions every day on achieving things and doing things, you're already taking your mind and focusing it in a direction saying, I tell a lot of my agents here, I intend to find one buyer or seller today that I can help. And you say it with conviction, and you say it with a belief that I intend to find one buyer or seller today I can help. And if you do that and you act as if that power of intention was as real as gravity, because I'm putting this intention into it with this solid belief, you actually start to have that feeling that I am doing this to help people. I am going to achieve this. This is the actions I'm going to take, and I'm going to do that. You're just taking one simple thing. You have to do business every day. You're going to talk to people every day. Why not take your mind, set an intention to do something today? I don't care what it is. Pick one thing that you're going to intend to do in your business. Make sure that you follow through and do it. And you've just taken a step towards activating a strong and harnessing a strong, solid mindset, because your mind says, I'm going to do it. Your mind says it with belief that you're going to do it, and then you do it. And you're just literally reinstilling into your mind and into that belief that I can. I said I was going to, I believed I was going to, and I did it. We're just making that mindset more powerful. Make time to think. This is one of the keys. Pause and reflect. At the end of every day, you should take a few moments and you should sit down and say, what were my intentions? What did I set out to do today? And what are all of my accomplishments today? What did I do today that was awesome? So sit down and write those things out. Sit down, pause and reflect, write down all of the things you accomplished today, write down what your intentions were today, and then write down everything that you did accomplish from those intentions. If you do that, hang on one second, I'm just reading some chats as they come through too. This statement helps me immensely. Think of this as an opportunity rather than an obligation. I heard that in one of our meetings. That's right. That's another intention, that power of intention. You know, the statement, think of this as an opportunity rather than an obligation. You can always turn that around even more powerful. This is an opportunity for you to get the business that you've always wanted. This is not an obligation. This is your opportunity. Get up and get to work. So making those things powerful is really where it comes in play. So make time to think, pause and reflect. End of the day, write those things down. You're literally training your brain to look for the accomplishments, training your brain to look for the good things that you do, training your brain to focus on the intentions you set out to do, rewarding yourself for doing those things, and then writing down the things that you achieved, which is going to make you feel better about that and just kind of instill that same kind of mindset. Learn to deal with negative thoughts. Look, no matter what you do, I don't care who you talk to, they have negative thoughts. Everybody has negative thoughts that come into their head, but what do you do with them when they pop into your head? Except that negative thoughts are simply thoughts with no inherent power. Replace the negative thought with a new one that serves you. Sounds easy enough, right? Well, there's even more power behind doing certain things here. Like when you have a negative thought, trying to just change that thought doesn't always work. So you have to change a lot more than just the thought and the focus that you have, because those things are going to come up. Things are going to happen. What you're doing is your brain is just creating this normal habit and this normal pattern to keep you in line with where you're going to be safe. So what you have to do is you have to harness your mind, your body, and your verbiage and your language, the things that you're saying to it. So when you have negative thoughts, change something. Change your body. If you're sitting down, stand up. If you're standing still, start moving around. If you're inside, go outside. Change that and then start trying to instill a positive or a different thought in your mind. Like the comment that just came in, think of this as an opportunity rather than an obligation. If you keep feeling that, oh, I don't want to do this, this is so crappy, then you just, I just feel obligated to do these things, that's when you would kind of stop, stand up and say, no, this is an opportunity, not an obligation. Get up, get to work. And you can do something different. But when you change your body and you change the words that you're saying, your brain has the words that are coming out this way. Change the words and put them into a powerful state. Use your body and focus on exactly what it is that you're going after. And that's going to start reshifting your mind into a different direction. Don't listen to haters. Here's the saying, get in your head and you're dead. Well, when you play big, someone's bound to hate on you. If you plan to be successful, you're going to have haters. Sometimes it's the people that are closest to us. Sometimes it's our family, sometimes it's our spouses, sometimes it's, our coworkers, sometimes it's other people that are out there, they're going to hate on you. If you are going to be successful, you're not going to do it without somebody hating on you. It's just the way that it's the way that it is, and it's unfortunate. So don't listen to the haters. And if you do not let it get in your head. If you get in your head, you're dead. Everything in your head is a thought made up by you. I don't care what anybody said to you. You created a meaning behind what they said. And that meaning that you created is what started that whole thought of, I'm never going to be good enough. I can't believe I did that. Why would they say that? How could they do that? That hurt my feelings. And then you go on and go, maybe this isn't right for me. And you start going. Those are all thoughts that you made up. That person didn't say any of those things. That person may have said something as simple as, well, why would you do that? A simple statement, why would you do that, turns into, oh my God, and then you go down the rabbit hole, and next thing you know, everything's blowing up. So you're going to have haters. You can't listen to them. You have to be able to shift, same kind of thing, the negative thoughts, shift your mind, use your body, change your surroundings, switch the words around and turn it around and start saying something different. I know it sounds so simple and it sounds so silly, but none of us do that. We sit down and we start focusing on the feeling that we created and the emotion that we created to the meaning of what they said, the meaning we gave it. You have to start using your body, using your mind, and using your emotions in a different light and shifting and redirecting them. And those are some of the things you can do. Meditate. Look, I don't mean sit down and chant. You don't have to be sitting with your legs crossed. And, you don't have to do that to meditate. What is meditation? Really, meditation is directed thought. Anybody who tells you that you're going to sit down and meditate and I want you to clear your mind of all thoughts, you show me someone that can do that. And I think it's just too much. Your brain's going to have these thoughts. What you have to do is you have to have directed thought. So direct the thoughts that you have. Don't clear your mind of everything. Direct the thoughts. So if you take some time, use a few minutes of breathing. So if you want to change your thoughts and you want to change the direction of those things and actually meditate or direct your thoughts, have some time. Set 10 minutes aside. Set 5 minutes aside. Do some focused breathing. Radically change your breathing, which changes your body. Then start focusing on what you're grateful for. And then that meditation of focusing and directing your thoughts towards gratitude, and then directing your thoughts towards your goals, or directing your thoughts towards who you want to help that day. Just do something different because those things aren't typically coming into your mind every day. Work with a coach. How to harness a strong mindset? Work with a coach. You're going to get some positive feedback. You're going to get some critical feedback, but all of it's going to help you to get better. All of it's going to help you stay accountable. And if you have somebody holding you accountable, you're more likely to achieve your goals than if you just held yourself accountable. And sometimes, and most of the times, it's going to be faster. So that's really going to help you focus, because you have an outside perspective there looking at the things that you're doing and the things you're saying and the way you're doing it. We're going to give you some different feedback on that. And it's a coach is a key ingredient to pushing your mind and talents to the next level. You don't have the full belief in everything that you do, but a lot of times that coach does, because they see things differently. Every thought that you have is made up in your head, and your brain is trying to keep you safe, not successful. And if you have a coach that's looking at you from the outside saying, no, that's bullshit. You can do this because I saw this, 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 and this. Why don't we try this? And you're going to start pushing in a different direction. So having a coach is key. Constantly be learning. This is a read 30 minutes a day. Put yourself around successful people. Have conversations with people that are outside of your typical sphere. Surround yourself with different people. Always be learning. Always be trying to consume more knowledge. That's really going to help change your mindset. Something as simple as that. Feeding your brain new information on a daily basis. That's something that's just, it's not, you're not reading tabloids. You're not reading, you're reading something that's more, self-improvement, different things, different things about mindset, different things about goals, read somebody's biography about the things that they've done and the way that they achieved things and done things. You'll get something out of each one of them. Having a harness mindset, have clear goals, exercise. So one of the keys, everything starts with a thought. So thoughts become things. In order to exercise, you have a thought. And that thought becomes a thing and becomes an action. So you're already in charge of your brain. When you exercise, you had a thought, it created a thing and an action that you went out and exercised. So your brain and your mind is more powerful than the other BS that you're telling yourself. You overcame something and went out and did it. Exercise is just one of the easiest ways that you can start harnessing a different mindset and showing yourself that you can achieve things. Something as simple as getting in and doing that. Laugh. So being more happy and more productive, get around people that make you laugh, get around people that make you smile. It's really just going to help alleviate some of the stress and pressures, which really helps you to focus on things. But plus you're releasing oxytocin, you're releasing endorphins, and when you release those, you're in a better state. And when you're in a better state, you make better decisions. If you were depressed, I wouldn't have you or ask you to make any decisions from that depressed state. I'd want you in a happy, uplifting, positive, strong state, making decisions from that state, because that's where all your power comes from. Now, these are along the same lines, but if you want to change your mindset, I don't like the mindset that I'm in. Everything has kind of got me down into this point where my mind is just not working for me. I just feel like it's working against me, which again, that's a mindset statement right there. You feel like everything's working against you, even your own mind. So if you want to change that, here's a couple of things that you can do just to try and change and redirect your mindset. Number one, make a decision. Make a decision to do something different today. Decide and take action. That's why setting intention is key. Decide that I'm going to do this, set the intention to do it, and then actually do it. When you do that, you literally start to see yourself as an achiever. You start to see yourself accomplishing things. You start to say to yourself, well, that wasn't so bad, rather than I'll never get that done. You have to start taking and doing things, even if it's something as simple as there's a book by I believe he was in the Navy, and it's, he says it's about always make your bed. So his statement that he made to a college campus was basically to always make your bed in the morning. So that's the first thing. You made a decision, I'm making my bed, and I get it done, and you have that first achievement under your belt, and you already feel better about it. It's so silly and simple, but it makes a difference. You're already setting a tone for the day. That's why number 10, be grateful. That's the other thing that I like you to do in the morning, is to sit down and do some meditation and great gratitude and just focus. Change your breathing, which changes your body, which changes the direction of your thoughts, and then be grateful. Use the right kind of self-talk. Again, same exact thing. Change the thought process and change the words that you're saying to yourself that I can't, that this isn't going to work, it never works for me, you know my luck. And start you telling yourself that I can, I will, I am strong, I can do this, I intend to do this, I will do this. Are you saying the right things, or are you telling yourself, God, this never works out for me? So use the right kind of self-talk and change those things around a little bit. Change your story. So mindset, everybody has a story. You know my luck, that's how it's always been for me, or gosh, man, it's just, that's Murphy's Law. You live by those things. And that is a story that you've adopted for yourself, whether it's because of that's what society has done, or what you've seen, or the way that your tribe or your family was, or something that you've adopted to make yourself feel better. It's just a story. Everything that happens to you, you create a meaning to it. So when something happens to you, you took and created a meaning of, that's just my luck. That's just how things happen for me. It's always been that way. Well, that's a story you're telling yourself, and we need to change that story. So when those things start happening to you, change that story and change the directive. Like the comment that was put in earlier, here's an opportunity to change your state. Here's an opportunity to change your outcomes. Here's an opportunity, not an obligation. Use those things to shift the mind to start thinking in a different light, because your mind is automatically, once you start putting that in play, it just says, oh, there's another thing, because it makes it easier for you to not feel that pain of what happened. So here's another thing that it's just the way things are. You know how it is, Murphy's Law, that's always going to happen. If it's going to happen, it's going to happen to me. That's a mindset. That's not life happening to you. You need to shift that around and start finding the ways that life is happening for you, not to you. Set your body to succeed. What the body does, the mind follows. So that's why I said, if you're having some negative thoughts, change your body. If you're sitting down, stand up. If you're inside, go outside. Do something different. Change your body. Use the power of your physiology. Use the power of your body. And whenever you see someone with that, when you can see when somebody is successful, or somebody has a lot of energy, or you can see it on them. That's part of their physiology. But when somebody's tired or somebody's upset, you can see it on them. That's their physiology. So I would say that everybody has a recipe, the way they move their body, for depression, for being upset, for being bothered, but also for being energetic, for being full of life, for being happy. Everybody has a recipe for that. So use the recipe and change a few of the ingredients, and you'll get a different outcome. So start using your body in a powerful way, because that's good. That can make all the difference to just changing and shifting that mindset. Use pleasure over pain principle. Don't focus on the pleasure, focus on the pain. And I know this doesn't sound fun, but I've asked you this before. Who wants $1 million? Who here wants $1 million and would love to have $1 million and would absolutely be ecstatic if they had $1 million? It would change my life. Absolutely change my life. It would be so incredibly different. I would do this. I could see it now. Who wants $1 million? Probably every single one of us. And we associate so much pleasure to having $1 million. So if we focused on pleasure to achieve all of our goals, shouldn't we all have $1 million? We all would, if that's all that it took. So pleasure doesn't always work. What it is you have to focus on the pain of how bad can it be if I don't do that? If I don't get the $1 million, I'm going to be broke. My kids aren't going to eat. And you start focusing on the pain of how bad things can go. And I'll go, even if I don't do that, I'm going to be, 55 years old, single, in an apartment with empty pizza boxes and beer bottles all around, that my kids aren't going to want to talk to me. I start making it really painful for you to not take the actions today. Because if you don't take the actions today, you're not going to get the goals that you wanted, which means that all of these bad things are going to happen. And you're like, when you make it that painful to not take simple actions to get your business rolling, that's going to give you some power. That emotion right there is going to give you a push to get out and do something. Change your mindset. Study. Always be bringing in new knowledge, reading, do weekend long events, go to some different courses, like you do something like our Next Level You, even if you've already seen it or done it, consume the information. Go to an event, get an online event, get into a mastermind group, read a book, take a course, go to the local community college and take one course a year. Just do something different that's going to start giving you some more information that's going to shift your brain, shift your mind, and put you in a different direction. Meditate, we already talked about that. Connect with other people. One of the six basic needs of people is to have connection, to have love and connection, and be connected with other people. You ever notice that when you surround yourself with certain people, your outlook starts to change? You ever notice that when you go to certain people's houses, and some of us don't like going to our families on the holidays because they're always so miserable and negative or whatever, and it's just not fun. But then when you go around other people, you're uplifted and you feel your spirits are up. So connect with other people. Just find the right people. Proximity is power. Get yourself around people that have all the things that you're looking for, or all the things you're looking to achieve. Get yourself around people who are doing the things that you want to do and who are acting and feeling in the ways that you want to feel. Look, your perception is reality. They may not have all of those things, but if they're acting like it, doing it, and creating it and making things happen, those are the people you want to get around. Those are the people that are out doing things, and that's going to change your outlook, change your focus. So surround yourself with positive people, but then just something as simple as change your focus. Where your focus goes, your energy will go. We are the only creature on this world that can think a thought and be happy, that can think a thought and be miserable. If you can literally, you ever been sitting there in a class or sitting somewhere driving, and all of a sudden a random thought pops into your head and it just makes you absolutely terrified or petrified? You're like, did I forget to do that? Like, we're the only species that can think a thought and create such powerful emotions. So if you can control your thoughts and what you're focusing on, your energy will start to go there. You thought something about whatever you didn't turn off, or did I leave the burner on, and is my house going to burn down? And you started to get so worried. Why not think, what if I do all of these things I set out to do and achieve all the goals that I want to achieve, and how amazing that's going to be, and start filling yourself up with those feelings and focus on those things? Do you think you'll take a better action? Because the other thought got you to turn around, run back to, run back to the house to go make sure that your house wasn't going to burn down. Why not think some other thoughts that are going to be just as powerful, that are going to start pushing you to taking action? So where your focus goes, your energy will go. And one of the easiest ways to control your mind is gratitude, because from a statement and a point of gratitude, you can be nothing but grateful. You can't be pissed off and upset and angry when you're thinking and focusing and closing your eyes and creating that emotion of gratitude for all the people and things you have in your life, and saying what you're grateful for, who you're grateful for, and repeating those things and thinking about them and putting those thoughts into your head. You can't be anything other than grateful. So start with gratitude and fill yourself up with gratitude. Like I mentioned before Thanksgiving, fill your cup up first. If you fill your cup up with gratitude and love and appreciation for everything that you have and everybody around you, when you take that cup and walk out into the world and somebody bumps into you or you run into people, you're going to start spilling everything in that cup. I want your cup to flow with gratitude and spill over with love and gratitude. Do you think that their life would be better? Your life would be better if you filled your cup up first and had a different mindset and different attitude. Everybody that you bumped into would just be, wow, their life would be touched just from the difference in the mindset and attitude that you carried. Whereas you don't want to run into those people. We've all seen them. You've all been in a grocery store or in a gas station that they came in and they're just pissed off, angry, mad, and upset. You don't want to be that person. And some days, and a lot of days, a lot of us are, and we don't even realize it. So gratitude is a great way to kind of direct those thoughts. So once we have that mindset, now we have to start thinking about, so let's think about goals. Let's think about why we need goals. What's the real important part with goals? So we talk about having this GPS and having everything going. So I like to attribute goals to like an autopilot on a plane. So if you have your GPS and you get on a plane and the plane says, I'm going to Hawaii, and you take off and you start heading towards Hawaii, the autopilot's going to keep redirecting, putting you on track, right? So, but if that autopilot stops working, right, is there anything really wrong with the physical plane? The plane's still going, the plane's still good, your body's still good. The autopilot is like your mindset. And there's nothing wrong with you, nothing wrong with the plane. Your mindset is just off. We have to redirect and reshift that autopilot on the plane. Now we set some goals of going to Hawaii, and we start working towards those goals and doing that. So we have to get the autopilot corrected on our vessel, and then we have to have a direction of where we're going. So let's start talking about why goals are important. So everybody started this Harvard study about written goals and the difference that it makes. So in 1979, interviewers asked new graduates from Harvard's MBA program, and they found that 84% of them had no specific goals at all. Meandering and floating through life. No direction, no intention, no goals. They just did whatever they were doing. They just no real specific goals. 13% had goals, but they were not committed to paper. So they weren't written down. 13% of them had goals that were there, but just not written down anywhere and not specifically directed and ingrained into their body. 3% had clear written goals and planned to accomplish them. So what does that tell me? That means that they thought enough about them, they wrote them down, planned to accomplish them, set the intention, had a strong mindset that I'm going to do it, and a belief that it's going to happen. So that was in 1979. In 10 years later, the interviewers interviewed the graduates of that class again. And here's the results. The 13% of the class who had goals were earning, on average, 2 times as much as the 84% who had no goals whatsoever. Guys, these are Harvard students. These are Ivy League students. It takes a lot to get into some of these schools. These people are smart, they're powerful, they know what they're doing, they can create the results. So 13% who had goals just didn't write them down were earning 2 times as much as the 84% who had nothing committed to paper and no goals at all. So even more staggering, the 3% who had clear written goals were earning on average 10 times as much as the entire 97% combined. So what does that mean? Well, first of all, writing a goal down impresses it on your heart and your mind and creates this mind-body link when you write it down. There's a saying that says what you write, you invite. What you don't, you won't. So if you just have this thought up here, everybody else know how powerful their mind is and how your mind can really kind of shift and change things and make things what they're not, change your perception. If you just leave it in your mind, that's what's going to happen. Pinball, back and forth, all over the place, getting up here. Now you have this thing that's kind of bumping around. And when you have that thought up there, you don't leave room for creativity. You don't leave room for processing. You don't leave room for any of that. My thought is get it out of your head. When you first get it out of your head and write it down, you're creating a link between the mind and the body. Your brain fires all of these neurons down to your muscles to start writing it, and now you have a connection between the mind and the body. But then also you put it out there. You're getting it out of your brain, leaving a little more space in your brain where you can take, okay, well, that thought's already there. Let's start building on that thought. Let's start creating. Let's be a little more creative. Let's be spontaneous. Let's think different thoughts. But if you have that goal doing this in your head, you don't leave any room for any of that because you're too busy trying to perfect the goal, create this goal, change the goal. Is that right? Am I good enough? Should I do this? I don't know if that's going to happen. Get it out of your head and start focusing on the why, the reason why you're doing it. And then we could start focusing on some of the other creative things that are going to happen. The process of writing your goals helps you clarify what you do and understand the importance of pursuing them and commit yourself to making that happen. So when you write it down, I've written down so many things, whether they're goals, thoughts, or just simple processes that have come up in my head, and I just start writing them down. And a lot of them are not useless, but they're not the greatest, thought process. But when I write it down, I'm able to see that, and I'm able to sculpt it and change it and move it and direct it and create something that's going to work. So writing them down, maybe you write it down and you're like, but then from there, I think I need this, but that doesn't go. What if I change this? Getting it out of your head starts creating and giving you that ability to start sculpting and molding it. And then the last thing, if you don't have time to write your goals, where are you going to find the time to accomplish them? It doesn't take long to write the goals down. And if you don't write them down and you don't commit to writing them down, when are you going to commit the time to working towards and accomplishing them? So, and then you lack that connection between the mind and the body where it's just not as strong. It's not going to be there. Here's some reasons to set goals. So as we start talking about what goals you want to do and some of the things I'm going to ask you to start focusing on is, some of the goals you want to achieve and some of the goals you want to accomplish, because we'll start talking more about that next week, creating a baseline. Here's your life. Which ones do we want to start focusing on? So goals create a roadmap for success. Like I said, it's a GPS. If you don't know where you're going and you don't have the mindset being that autopilot and the vessel that's there and then knowing where you're going, you don't know where you're going. You're wandering aimlessly. All you're doing is burning up gas. So you're burning up gas and energy, but we got to know where you're going. Let's start working towards that. And it's a target to point towards your life. Goals give you a starting point and a destination to reach. You know where you are, know where you're going. Written goals help you to see where you're going, what changes you need to make, and if you're progressing towards your prize. So written goals, if I have them written down and I'm monitoring and measuring them every day, okay, I see what I need to change. I see if I'm closer, if I'm further away, and you're able to process all of that. If you don't write them down, revisit them daily, pause and reflect at the end of the day with all of these little tips and tricks I gave you on mindset and creating that solid mind, that solid body there, you're not going to get the same kind of results. So let's kind of put it all into play. To achieve your life goals, you must make sacrifices. Stay committed, overcome challenges, and work your plans. This is going to help. When you do this, when you're making these sacrifices, you're overcoming challenges, staying committed, and working your plans because you have a solid mindset. That reinstills the belief that you can do it, and it reinstills that, and it makes that belief even stronger, which makes the action even stronger when you go out and take it. They help you focus your attention on a purpose. And when you have a definite target, it positions you for real success, because if you know where you're going and you're working towards that, you have a better chance of hitting it than if you didn't have any of that. The specific goal won't take you around in circles. Like I said, meandering. If you're just kind of, I'm going to do good in my real estate business. I'm going to get a few listings, get a few sales. And if you're just doing that, you're not maximizing your potential that's there. It requires a committed, concentrated, and consistent work ethic. And again, if you have that solid work ethic, it's going to get that solid belief in you. Goals have value if they help you develop and improve yourself or others' potential. When you measure your goals in progress, you stay on track. When you see your target dates and experience the excitement of achievement, that will propel you to your goals. A goal worth pursuing is not something that anyone can easily talk you out of. When you're revisiting it daily and you have a strong mindset and you've got emotion attached to it, and you're revisiting this goal, focusing on everything that you're going to have when you get that goal and all of the things that you plan to lose if you don't achieve that goal, and you're redirecting every single day to get towards that goal, how easy is it going to be for someone to talk you out of it? Even yourself. It's not going to be very easy. You're going to have a much better opportunity to stay with the course here and get that goal achieved. When you commit yourself to your vision and express it in achievable goals, you provide yourself with motivation for where you're going and how you get there. And goals help you determine priorities and direct you to focus on what's important. All of these things, again, these are just why we're setting goals. Now, the big thing is set goals in 7 areas of your life. So this is what we're going to talk about next week, is setting goals in these 7 different areas of your life. And we'll go through a wheel of life. We're really going to focus more on the real estate and business side, but you're going to have the opportunity to measure all this out. I'll send out a PDF to you that you can use to kind of measure these things. And so set goals in these areas of life that are going to empower you to live your vision with power. So here's one thing I want you to focus on. If you want to create this unstoppable mindset, there's a few things we'll have to do. So having a solid mindset and an unstoppable mindset here, what I want you to do is I want you to take a moment right now and recall a time in your life that you felt so incredibly proud, so excited, so confident, so driven, so full of energy and life, and that feeling that you could accomplish anything, something you're so proud of that you accomplished. Think of a time in your life. Is it walking across the stage, walking for graduation? Is it getting that first check that puts you over $100,000 of income? Is it being able to donate a certain amount of money? Is it being a part of your church, just something that makes you feel so incredibly proud and excited and confident and driven and just so full of life, something that just makes you feel like that. Think of a time that you felt like that. Think of a specific time, a specific moment that you can recall. And the reason I'm asking you to do this is, like I mentioned before, we have a recipe for certain feelings and emotions. Most of us don't even realize it. There's a recipe that your body does when you're scared. Your body does a certain thing, your brain does a certain thing, you start saying certain things or asking certain questions. Same thing when you're upset or when you feel like somebody's wronged you, you go through a process. I want you to focus on the process that you went through when you felt proud and excited and full of love, life, and energy. So think of a moment that you felt so incredibly proud of what your accomplishment was, and you could picture yourself standing there, achieving it, being fulfilled, knowing that you did it, and you're so confident in those abilities, and you could do anything when it came to it. So think of a moment that you felt like that. And then once you have that moment, start thinking of all of these things, thinking of your body. What was your body doing in that moment? What was your physiology? How were you standing? Were you standing? Were you sitting? What was going on? Was your head up? Were you smiling? Were you making a movement? Was it at a game where you were cheering and you were jumping for joy? Did you have your fist clenched? What was your body doing in that moment? Were you crying? Were you crying tears of joy? So what were those things that your body did? Were you standing tall? How did you breathe? Did you breathe long and deep breaths? Were you making fast movements or slow movements? Was everything more pointed, or was it a little more subdued and soft? Think of what your body did and write some of those things down. Write down the way that your body moved, the way that your body acted, the things that you did. Then your focus. Again, let's start thinking about writing down. What did you focus on? What were you thinking about? What were you paying attention to? Were you thinking internally, or were you thinking externally? Were you thinking about everything going on around you, or were you thinking internally about everything that you were so confident and proud of? Were you thinking about all the things that you achieved and went through to get to that? Were you focused on yourself, or were you focused on everybody else around you? So start thinking about, what did you focus on? Did I focus on all of the things that I did? And I can't believe that I achieved all that. Look at everything. Look how I can share this. Like, what were you focusing on? What were you thinking about? And write some of those things down. And along this same line is, what were some of the specific things you said to yourself? Either to yourself or even out loud. What are some of the words that you used? What are some of the things you can say? Wow, you are amazing. I can't believe that we did this. This feels so good. I'm so proud of you. What are some of the things you said to yourself? What are the words? What are the phrases? What are the things you maybe said to other people about what you did? So think of the language that you used in that moment, right? So if everybody has that moment, has that time in that moment that you know what your body was doing, you know what your focus was, and you know what the things you were saying to yourself. Now we'll do a really quick exercise, and I want you to focus on doing this. I'm going to walk you through this really quickly, and then I want you to keep practicing and doing this later. And this is where we're going to end. So if you can, stand up, change your body, shake your body out. Let's get rid of all of the little thoughts and the feelings that you had. Shake everything out. When you say shake it out, we're shaking out the state of being that you are now and welcoming in something else. So change your body, change your state, use something here, get a big shift, a radical change in your body, a radical change in your breathing. Couple deep breaths, really deep breaths, in and out. Change your body, you change your breathing. All right, and then I want you to stand up, and I want you to actually stand up, and I want you to think and breathe in that moment. I want you to close your eyes, and I want you to make your body do exactly what you did in that moment. Put yourself directly back in that moment where you're so confident, so proud, so full of energy. Really focus on being in that moment. Focus on the feelings that you had. Focus on the things that you said. Put your body the way that it is. Was your chest out, your shoulders back, and really stay like that. And we want you to take this moment and really feel this moment and focus on it. Put yourself really deep into that moment. And I want you to take a couple really deep breaths. and welcome those feelings and bring yourself right back to that moment where you were. Bring yourself right back to that moment where you felt so confident, so driven, like you could accomplish anything, and say to yourself the same things that you said. Tell yourself how proud you were. Tell yourself how confident you are. Tell yourself that you could do anything. Make your body move the way that it was. Really feel that. Exaggerate these feelings. Get them bigger, get them stronger. And when you get up to that point where you can really, really feel that pride and really feel that pride and proudness in you, squeeze your fist. Squeeze it and keep maximizing that feeling. Feel that feeling, squeeze the fist, squeeze it, squeeze it, squeeze it, and hold it, hold it, hold it, and then let go. And let go. All right. And then what you'll do is that same thing. I want you to take it again. I want you to get yourself back in that feeling again. Double that emotion, double those thoughts, double those feelings. Start focusing on, put your body in that state, put your focus on what you focused on. Take your language and say those things to yourself again. Really see yourself there. Put yourself, visualize yourself standing right there in front of everybody that you were at or wherever you were, feeling that you did, that pride. And when you get up to that peak of the emotional state again, squeeze your fist again. Squeeze it and hold it when you're at that peak and keep feeling that and just fill yourself with more of that same kind of feeling. Keep filling it up. Fill your body, fill your mind, fill your thoughts, fill your words, squeeze your fist, and then let go. And you'll do this a few times. What we're trying to do and what I want you to do is focus on these things. I want you to go through that. You're anchoring in that feeling, that heightened state of confidence, heightened state of emotion, those positive thoughts, that body language that you had, you're anchoring it in, squeezing your fist and creating these emotions there. You've got to do this a few times. And then whenever you get into a point where you start to feel a little bit off, you can change your body a little bit and squeeze your fist and close your eyes. And you can start to feel a little bit of those feelings. And it's usually just enough to get you over a little hump where you can actually start to change your focus, change your mind, change your direction, change the thoughts, change the words that you're saying. So you have to start changing these little things. And this is really one of the only ways that you're going to create that shift, unless you have something that's literally like a major life-changing thing. People usually don't make changes. It's usually like a life-changing. They make these huge changes when it's a life-changing thing where, unfortunately, it's for a lot of people, near-death experiences. Somebody left them and their life is going to be completely different now. Like when they lost something, that's usually when people make these changes. You can take some of these actions, create a physiology, a language, and a focus that you can attribute to confidence and being prideful and achieving this, and you can start shifting your mindset into a different direction whenever you start to feel off a little bit. So use these tools, use that whenever your brain starts to go off in a different direction and you want to redirect it, bring it back to where you want to be, bring it back to where you're confident, where you're proud, where you know you can do it, where you feel full of energy, full of emotion, and just change that direction a little bit. If we can harness this mindset and we can harness these thoughts and your mind and your body, and we can harness these things. Now we set some goals, and what we'll do is we get to a point where you have a heightened state like we just walked through, where you have that full of confidence kind of feeling, and we get you to that point, and then we start thinking of goals. Like I said, we don't make decisions from a depressed state. We don't make decisions from a point where you feel like you can't, like you're not good enough. I'm not sure what's going to happen. I don't know if I can do it. I don't feel confident. You don't make decisions from that point, because those are the outcomes you're going to get directly related to the emotion that you have. So let's change your emotion, change your mindset, change that focus and physiology and language, create a heightened state, and let's start making decisions and setting goals from there. So that's what we're going to focus on going into next week, is we're going to heighten the emotions, heighten that state of being, and we're going to start focusing on all the different things, what a level 10 would look like for you in some of these points and some of these parts of your life, different questions to ask yourself, and then hopefully from there, that'll give you the ability to start thinking in a different light. Well, in this part of my life, I'd love to do this. And in this part of my life, I'd love to do this, because that would be an absolute level 10 for me. I don't need to focus on that part of my life right now because I feel confident with it. I want to focus on this one. That's where we're trying to get to, but we got to get the focus, the physiology, the mindset. We got to set that foundation, and then we can start looking at where is your life, because I don't want you to look at where you're at from a depressed state. I want you to look at where you're at from a heightened state. And okay, well, how can I change that? Not, oh man, it's the same thing again. I think I've got to set some goals. So we want to just heighten it up, look at where you are, evaluate where that is, set some goals to try and achieve from there. And that's what we'll do next week. I hope you guys have a great day. Thank you for tuning in. I hope this was valuable for you, or at least gives you a little bit to start thinking about and walking through getting into next week. If you have any questions, feel free to reach out. If there's any chats or any feedback that you wanted to put in, feel free to do so. Otherwise, have a happy Wednesday. Hope you guys have a great day. And let's see, no other chats. We're good. So thank you much. Have a great day, guys.